Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm still in John 1. John 1 is interesting. There's this beautiful, beautiful passage about the Word becoming flesh and the light coming. And in the middle of it, there's three verses, verses 6 to 8 of chapter 1 of John, which says, "There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came for testimony, to bear witness to the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness to the light." And this is something that we do think about in Advent. Those who gave the announcements that the Messiah was coming and that he had come. And Luke, in his first chapter, tells us in great detail how John's birth came about quite miraculously and how special he was. And it was John who was the herald. We have this wonderful hymn, don't we? We sing it every year. Hark, the herald angels sing. And that's Old English, isn't it? For listen, the announcement is being made. Hark, the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King. They came to announce his arrival. And John was sent to announce the beginning of his ministry, when Jesus began his ministry, to point out who Jesus was, to recognize him by the coming of the Holy Spirit on Jesus. He was not the light. He was not carrying the light himself, John. He came to bear witness to the light, that all might believe through him. A herald. I looked it up. I like looking things up in the dictionary. Whenever there's an interesting word, it's worth looking it up, because reading the dictionary definition sometimes helps us, because we have in our mind a sort of, passed down colloquial kind of understanding of a word. And it's good to look it up. I know the word herald really isn't used much in the scriptures. It's in that hymn, but a herald is a person who announces important news. And that made me think of the town crier. You know, whenever we have a fete or a fair in a town, the town crier comes out in all his finery and shouting at the top of his voice, telling people that this event is beginning or has begun, or announcing the opening of it. The herald, the town crier. Of course, we're thinking back in the days before microphones, before amplification, to announce the arrival of a king was very important. You know, people would be told to get ready, would be told he was coming. And that announcement would put into action a lot of preparations for the coming of the king. And I'm sure when our kings and queens in this country went round the country from London to see different parts of the country, they would have gone ahead of the king or queen, a heraldic group who had a particular job, and that was to get the place ready for the king to come and to tell them the king was coming. Because they didn't have photography, they didn't have cameras, they didn't have news agents like we have now. They simply had the word of mouth, and they got ready. So the herald was a person who announced important news, who was a forerunner, a harbinger. Now, I thought harbinger, the only use I have for the word harbinger is the harbinger of doom. You know, I don't know where I get that from, but a harbinger is a person or thing that announces or indicates the approach of something, a forerunner, to announce the approach or arrival of. So John was a harbinger of good. He was the one who was warning people Jesus was coming, pointing to the light, recognizing that God had come, telling people that what they'd been waiting for all their lives was finally happening. A wonderful, wonderful thing. To announce publicly, to precede or usher in. Hark, the herald angels sing. Hark, the herald John speaks. he was warning people to get ready, because the greatest arrival was about to happen. And as we get ready for Christmas, there's lots of things that we do to prepare for Christmas. We probably don't do as much as our forebears used to, like making Christmas puddings, making Christmas cakes, and getting together all the stuff. But we do make preparations. And this is another time of the year when it's good for us to think, how would we feel if the Lord were to come? Because we need to get ready, because he could come at any point. He could come before the end of this pandemic. He could come. We might not have to face much more of it. He could come today. He could come tomorrow. We need to be ready. And if we really thought, I mean, imagine, just think, close your eyes for a moment and think, what if you knew Jesus was going to come this evening at 7? What would you do to be ready? If you knew for certain he was coming, what would there be about your life that you would change? What would there be about the things you do and don't do? How would you prepare for him coming if you knew he was coming? It seems very far-fetched to even think like that, but actually we have to, as Christians following the Lord, live our daily lives ready in case he should come, ready to drop at any moment everything we're doing for the sake of welcoming him. So we need to get ready for Christmas. I'm shocked. I am more prepared for Christmas this year than I ever have been, and the reason is I've had time. My days have not been full of all the things that I usually do. And I am so glad for the more relaxed state that we are in at the moment. But think about heralds, the herald angels, the angels who announced. I wonder what they actually thought about God becoming man. I'm not sure that they had any idea of what the Father's plan was going to be. And they announced with great joy the coming of the baby into Bethlehem. What a mystery for them to see God in a baby boy. Fantastic. Wonderful. I'll see you again tomorrow. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.